Welcome in to Texans Today. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and coming up on the program today, 5 burning questions surrounding the Texans as we get ready for OTAs. A lot of teams, they've had their guys out there already practicing. Texans, one of the teams that kind of come in later. You know, they're going to be practicing, I believe, first day will be the 28th, the first day of OTAs for the Houston Texans. But here are my 5 biggest questions surrounding the Texans before they get into OTAs. But before I give you my 5 burning questions, I have a burning question for you. Speaking of burning, do you like them hot? Let me know. Settle the debate. What's the best wing spot and the best flavor? I'm going to put my producer, Smitty, on the rocks right now. Best flavor. You don't have to give me the place. What's the best wing flavor?
Thai chili.
Thai chili. Okay. Producer Smitty says Thai chili. I like classic buffalo barbecue. Maybe a little, lemon pepper, hot lemon pepper action right there. Go down in the comment section. Let me know. Best wing spot and the best flavor. As we get into my burning questions. Number 1, which young offensive lineman steps up for the Houston Texans? Because they are banking a lot on some of these young guys progressing and stepping up big time. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, here's some of the young guys on this Texans offensive line that I think we should have a magnifying glass on. Blake Fisher, Aireontae Ersery, Juice Scruggs, Jarrett Patterson, Ladarius Henderson, Ed Ingram, all these guys, on the younger side and really are needing to step up. The Texans traded for Ed Ingram. The rest of these guys, besides Ladarius Henderson and Jarrett Patterson, the other 3, they gave, significant draft capital for drafting those other 3 guys in the second round. So we know the left tackle. That battle is either going to be Cam Robinson or Aireontae Ersery. But I'm looking at these young guys saying, can they push some of the veterans at some of the other positions along this Texans offensive line? Because I don't think a single spot is secured just yet. We talked about left tackle. How about right tackle? Blake Fisher, Titus Howard, Trent Brown, Aireontae Ersery. Blake Fisher, can you give me something? Can you show out in year 2? This is going to be a big test to see who becomes the right tackle for this team. Could it be Trent Brown, who they brought over coming off injury from the Cincinnati Bengals? Who will be the other tackle alongside either Cam Robinson or Ersery, who plays on the left side? What about the center position? This one's very interesting because, a lot of people are just like, Juice Scruggs, Jarrett Patterson, one of those 2. But they might play Scruggs at guard. They brought over Jake Andrews, who in college played with the current Texans offensive line coach and running game coordinator in Cole Popovich. So does he have an inside track to possibly get a chance to get that starting center spot? I don't know. And then looking at the guard battle, right? Ladarius Henderson, Ed Ingram, Laken Tomlinson. I'll add Titus Howard and hell, maybe even a Juice Scruggs in there too, as guys who can really battle for one of those guard spots. So I want to see some of these young guys step up. Could a Ladarius Henderson, who's somewhat of a fan favorite right now, step in and be a starter? Ed Ingram, who was cast aside with the Minnesota Vikings, could he revitalize his career in Houston? Does Titus Howard make the official switch to guard? I don't think I'm alone in that this is going to be the most watched offensive line out of any NFL team this offseason, because I know every single Texans fan is going to be looking at that front 5 protecting C.J. Stroud this offseason, really wondering, did we improve this offensive line? Number 2, my second burning question, who will be the wide receiver 5? And for this, I actually have a clip from my man Cecil Shorts. If you didn't catch that interview with Cecil, it was really great. It's still on the channel. I got you covered. But he had some interesting takes around the Texans wide receiver room and actually had somebody as a trade candidate who I'll talk about in a later video whenever I talk about trades, but really raised my eyebrows. This is what Cecil had to say from our live show just the other day.
Very good problem to have. And I think I need to look at previous years. They probably will keep 6, maybe. Yeah. That would be my guess. But you got to think Nico, the 2 rookies, and then Christian Kirk are the top 4, right? The top 4. So now you're fighting for those other guys, 5, 6 guys for 2 spots. So it's going to be interesting to see, is it going to be because you got to put it this way: the top 4, whoever they are, they're going to have offensive reps. There it is, right there. You got Nico, Jaden, Jalen, and Christian. Those guys are going to play offense. That's just what it is. They're going to play offense. Jalen seems like he'll play some. He was a returner at Iowa State, so he may do some things at Iowa State. But then you brought in Braxton Berrios. Then you brought, you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
The other 2 guys outside of the big 4 are going to have to help in special teams. So that's where the Watsons, the Hutchinsons, that's where those guys can really stand out and make the team, because they're also big guys that probably play on the outside, similar to what Nico and Jaden will do, right? But also, they have to be able to run down on kickoff. They have to be able to be a gunner. So with so many things that come with the last 2 spots, it's going to be interesting to see. And I wouldn't be surprised, too. This is a surprise, right? Say no goes out there and kills it. They're like, hey, he's our starting slot. Let's trade Christian Kirk somewhere else, right? It could be that case. I wouldn't be surprised that happens. But when you look at it, I would say those 4, the 2 drafted, Kirk and Nico are the big 4, and everybody else is fighting for those 2 spots. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to come down to special teams. It always does. Who can help us most on special teams, but can also make plays when their number is called? In previous years, I don't know if when Nico went down, if they could trust Hutch to make plays consistently. If they can trust, because 2 years ago was Noah Brown, if I'm not mistaken. He was going out there going, right? Can you trust Metchie to make plays consistently? Metchie shows some bright spots this year, but he also shows some inconsistencies when it comes to drops, getting open consistently. I think Metchie can be a special guy if he figures out how to be a consistent player. But that's what's going to come down to. It's going to be interesting. You love it because you want competition in that room. You want guys to be able to compete. You want guys to be like, hey, push each other, and the cream will rise to the crop naturally. But it's going to be a tough call.
Yeah. Very interesting comments from Cecil Shorts III. If you, like I said, if you want to check out that whole interview, I'll put that in the comment section description of today's video. But I mean, I think he hit the nail on the head of like the 5th and 6th guys got to be special teamers as well. And maybe that does favor a Braxton Berrios. Maybe that does favor a Justin Watson, who D'Amico Ryans was gushing over just the other day at the State of the Texans. It's going to be an interesting kind of battle to see how this wide receiver room shakes out. Now, I don't necessarily agree that the Texans are going to trade Christian Kirk. And like I said, I'll probably bring that up on a future video. But at the same time, if they like Metchie more than him, you never know. Maybe the Texans front office, Nick Caserio, they pull a fast one on all of us again and trade somebody before he even steps foot on NRG playing for the Houston Texans. Let's go to the next burning question. Number 3, how much does coaching matter? And this is more of a vague question, right? But the entire just hope around this Texans offense really lies within us trusting the Texans offensive coaching staff, because they didn't bring in premier guys along the offensive line. Yes, they, drafted their first 3 picks were on the offensive side of the football, wide receiver, tackle, wide receiver. But it does feel like D'Amico, this front office, is putting a buttload of faith in Nick Caley and Cole Popovich, the new OC, new O-line coach, to improve this offense this season. Because besides that, I mean, like I said, you're adding new wide receivers. But along the offensive line, you didn't add any premier talent to replace Laramie Tunsil. It was all guys who, I'm not going to say cast away, but some middle-tier guys who you're looking to elevate, like a Laken Tomlinson, who's been a starter before, has played well in the league, but, he's an older veteran, maybe getting towards the end of his career. Ed Ingram, who didn't play well in Minnesota. And then some young guys, Blake Fisher. How is he going to look this year? Has he been putting in the work this offseason? And will he fit in this new Texans offense? I mean, it's going to come a lot down to coaching and how they scheme up this offense to help out C.J. Stroud and to help put some more points on the board. I want to hear from you folks at home. What is your confidence level in this Texans coaching staff? Scale it 1 to 100. 1, you have no confidence in this new offensive coaching staff. 100, you think they're going to make this Texans offense maybe one of the best offenses in the entire NFL? Let me know down in the comment section what you think. Let's go to the 4th burning question. Can the defense be even better this year? Because it seemed like the Texans saw one of their strengths and they're like, Yep, let's go all in on that. Let's make sure our defense truly is one of the best in the entire National Football League, because in terms of the defense last year, 4th in sacks, 5th in takeaways, 5th in total yards allowed, 6th in third down defense. I mean, this Texans defense was elite. And, to get past some of the big guys, to get past the best teams in the AFC, this team's got to be better. And you know what? This defense got even better this offseason. What did they do? They traded Kenyon Green. They got C.J. Gardner-Johnson to really complete that secondary, where there's really no holes in this Texans defense as is right now, right? There's really, barring injury, I don't think there's a single position where I'm like, man, that's a glaring need on this defense. I can't think of a single one. And this will be how the Texans make a playoff run, because I believe the Texans front office, the Texans coaching staff, DeMeco Ryans, they saw the Super Bowl. They saw that game against Patrick Mahomes and how it affected him so much. And they said, this is how we're going to win. Yes, our offense needs improvement, but our defense needs to be elite level. And I think it's going to be just that. They went ahead and added Sheldon Rankins alongside, this amazing defensive line, most of which they brought back from last season. So I think they're doubling down. I think they're saying, hey, we're going to make our biggest strengths even bigger into 2025, because that's how we're going to shake opponents. And even if our offense is middle of the pack, if we have a top-tier defense, defense travels in the playoffs. Defense plays well. I mean, hell, defense is what kept this Texans team in it against the Chiefs in the divisional round. So I'm really excited to see how some of these new parts of this defense and returning guys really play out in 2025. I have one more burning question coming up, but it's almost Father's Day. We talked about Mother's Day. We talked about, getting, your mom a gift, but how about getting your dad a gift? Some Texans-related stuff right now with our friends over at Fanatics. If you don't know what to get your dad, this is some easy stuff to get him right now if you're a Texans fan. Go to chatsports.com/TexansDad, and that link will send you straight to the Fanatics website with all their Father's Day gifts. You can get jerseys. You can get like this. You can get, a frame for photos. You can get a ton of Texans, stuff for his garage. A lot of cool stuff over there. If you don't know what to get your dad for Father's Day, go check it out right now. Do a little window shopping, chatsports.com/TexansDad. That link will be in the comment section and description of today's video. My 5th burning question. Who is the Texans tight end 1? I know a lot of y'all might say, Jeremy, it's obviously Dalton Schultz, right? Right? I'm not so sure, because we're getting a guy in Nick Caley who specializes in coaching the tight end spot. And Dalton Schultz was not good last year. He was okay, but to his standard, how he played the year before, how he got his contract extension with the Texans, he was not up to par. Will he have a bounce-back season with Nick Caley, or will Nick Caley look at some of these other weapons that the Texans have, like a Cade Stover, like a Brevin Jordan, like the 7th-round pick, Todd McShay's favorite 7th-round pick in Luke Lachey? Will one of these guys step up for this Texans team? Because like I said, Dalton Schultz last year, it was a tough look. There was times, especially like in pass protection, run blocking, did not look good at all. Still average receiving year, 53 receptions, 530 yards. But with a new offensive coordinator who's predicated on getting the ball to the tight end, will that be Dalton Schultz, or could it be one of the young guys in this Texans tight end room? That's all I have for you on today's show, folks. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, you can do so at Jeremy Chugs. My DMs are always open. And if you made it to the end of today's video, hit that sub button. We just passed 30,000 subs. We're trucking along. We're going to get to 40, 50, 60, 70K subs here on the channel. Be a part of it. Join the wave. YouTube's #1 Texans YouTube channel right here. Go down and hit that sub.